We're here in Utrecht at the Blockchain Innovation Conference, and we're here with the winner of the Dutch ICO contest. Tykn, could you please introduce yourself, Ty?
Yeah, my name is Tey. I'm co-founder of Tykn.tech. I call myself an expert refugee. I'm also global moderator at Bitcoin.com. I'm finishing this year my master's with the University of Nicosia in digital currencies and blockchain technology, public speaker on Bitcoins in specific. And yeah, we are winners today of the best ICO pitch in the Netherlands for 2018.
Actually, this guy also has a very special personal story. I mean, he came as a refugee to Holland. We have this complex network of AZCs, etc. Maybe you can just tell in short, actually, the steps you made and how did you came in blockchain?
Yeah. So I came into the Bitcoin space actually in late 2012. I was sitting at home watching National Geographic, and they had a program on the history of money. At the end of the show, it was like 30 seconds, they talked about how the future of money would look like, and that there is something called Bitcoin and you can make money at home. So I thought, okay, you know, like that's the moment. I can make some money at home. And it turned out it's a very complex process, and I had to wait for like 6 months in order to just get my first Bitcoins out.
Mining.
Through mining, and this is where the journey started. I stayed involved. I was amused by the fact that you can actually make money at your home, because for me, as a kid raised in Lebanon, as a kid born in Kuwait, living in Dubai, so I'm exposed more and more to the Middle Eastern culture. I know how difficult it is for like guys to make money, and especially for women, how difficult for them is to be financially included. So my mom, for until today, I think she's still taking her allowance from my dad, and it is mind-blowing on how can she be independent and make her own money. So this was the trigger in the beginning. But after I became a refugee and after my work contract in the Netherlands was not renewed, I came into a real use case of Bitcoin, where as a refugee you have to submit your documents. So you do not have your driving license, you do not have your passport, you do not have a bank, you're not allowed to use Western Union, PayPal, MoneyGram, RIA, any type of financial service. But you have family in Syria, and they are like they want money. So there I started teaching a few refugees on, look, there's something called Bitcoin. You can send the money to Turkey basically. The reporters, drivers, whoever is going into Syria, aid workers, they can change it into cash for you and they bring it to your family. So it was done on a few circle of friends that I know and people that I got acquainted there. But the funny part was the food. So in the refugee camp, they give you like, we're happy they were distributing food, of course, you know, like the bread, the egg, the salad, and the rice. But every day it became like horrendous for me. Especially that one day before I was just eating kebab and kapsaloon and, you know, having really nice, the Dutch food, the aardappel and the rooikool, and I missed all these things suddenly. So there, Thuisbezorgd.nl, they accept Bitcoin for food delivery. Yeah. So I started ordering pizzas, ordering burgers, beer, cola, and the asset management was like, they were surprised. Where is this food coming from? I mean, we know that refugees have cash on them, but the delivery services, if you don't pay up front, they won't deliver to Ter Apel. And no one in the volunteers in the ISSA is ordering this food. So I explained to them, yeah, I'm using Bitcoin. Now it was a bad decision, you know. Bitcoin was like at $200, $300 at that time, and I was just spending it on food and on drinks. Today it's worth much more. I didn't make the mistake of the guy who ordered 10,000 Bitcoin for one pizza, but I needed it, you know, and I didn't care. I don't care today that it is at 7,000. At that day, at that time, it felt like I would pay $1 million for such food and such delivery service.
But maybe it's also a great story, and maybe it also helps with you in your entrepreneurship. I mean, you have a really personal story, so it really helps to find the motivation for you.
It helped in the validation, actually. It helped to validate the case that yes, we do need blockchain to solve part of the identity problem. We are not claiming to solve all the identity problems in the world. There is a small part that is related to attestation, that is related to the root cause of identity, centralization of infrastructures, lack or poor infrastructures that are making people invisible. We can change that. The idea that the government or the NGO or whoever is using our infrastructure, when they are building applications and dApps on our infrastructure, on the ANA infrastructure, and notice how many times I said infrastructure, because this is what we do, this is what we build. And here, it doesn't allow you to travel with it, but it allows you to receive aid. It allows you to maybe have a wallet, have a healthcare record, go to school, do simple things that later when the government sees, oh, look how much time, money and lives we saved, we want to adopt that, we want to adapt to this innovation, then simply with one key signature, private key signature, this identity suddenly becomes viable and legal. You can fly with it, you can vote with it, you can do other many things with it.
Can you say maybe it's a big idea that you give refugees their identities back? I mean, you yourself a refugee, you have to flee, the birth certificate is gone or burned or whatever.
True. I would also frame it as one of our colleagues and core team members always puts it in our heads that Evan Yap, he's the research actually intern at Tykn, and he always stresses that we are at the identification part, because identity is, you have your own identity, I have my own identity. What we need is to be identified. We need to voice that we exist. And this is the specific innovation that we do. We make sure that you are visible on this ledger. Your data, your name, your age, your address, this is not what we register. We register just one thing, that you exist. And once we provide you exist in 100, 1,000 times, that becomes a sort of a reputation. And that becomes a sort of a proof that you exist.
Yes, very beautiful. And but in the practical sense, you still have this central authority, of course, that has to control your identity and verify, etc. And it's in their hands still, the control.
Yes, it is more. You're not leveraging only the authority anymore. You're leveraging the knowledge, the wisdom of the community. So, in the camp, everybody knew that I speak English. So I became the English-speaking authority in the camp. And when someone... Exactly. When the COA, volunteers want to talk to refugees who doesn't speak any other language than Arabic, they don't know I speak English. But because the community knows, they say, speak to Tey. He can translate for us. Let's take that out of the context of the refugee camp and put it in a village in Malawi, where we have 90% vaccination rates, less than 10% registration rates. Everybody knows that this person is the chief village leader, and he knows every single name in the village. This healthcare worker who's giving vaccine to the children knows every single village, every single hut, how many children there are in, by the back of her head. Can't we take that information out of her? Give her the reward to say, just maintain that work you're doing. Without interference from NGOs and governments, just do your job as it is and help us identify people. It's possible.
It's possible. You need, of course, also the cooperation of these NGOs and governments. And you're actually actively looking. I think it's Sint Maarten where you were also looking.
Yeah. So we were happy to partner with people or with organizations who share the same ethics, who share the same vision as we share. And we believe in data responsibility beyond compliance, and we believe in minimization of data, and we share many values with actually the 510 data team of the Dutch Red Cross. So 150 years old organization, it's considered a dinosaur in the NGO world, it's considered the JP Morgan of financial institutions. They are looking at blockchain, and they're looking at a model that can disrupt their own existence. And this is where the click happened, and together we are discovering how can we implement such an innovative technology in a real use case that is happening really soon in September. So
doing a pilot.
Yeah, we are starting our pilot in St. Martin, and of course, hopefully by next year, where we will take the stage of Blockchain Innovation Conference 2019, we will be sharing our results and we will be sharing our findings, and we will prove whether our theories were correct. Blockchain, cryptocurrencies, tokenization is a good match in the identity management world, or is it just a hype? Our job at Tykn is to prove that this is not a hype, and this is a hope actually.
Thank you very much. Do you still have time to grow your team, etc.? It must be a challenge.
Yes.
What are the challenges?
Yes.
You have enough funds also, or
the purpose of taking an ICO route is the international exposure that we can have in the investment mechanism, in collecting funds from all around the world in a relatively short period of time, that can help us achieve our missions, our vision, and execute our roadmap as we see it fit. So with this ICO, we are hoping that we increase our team, we get more developers on the back end, front end, system architects and system designers. We hope also we are able to push more on the marketing, advertising, and most importantly on the education, because we believe that the best investment you can make today is investing in education and not speculation. So together with Tykn, the partners of Tykn, the network of Tykn, whether it's in Egypt, whether it's in Lebanon, in St. Martin, in the Netherlands, in Germany, and all around the world, we are all focusing and we are all collaborating on educating other stakeholders, let's say United Nations. Here in the Dutch political scene, we're always active in educating politicians, regulators, decision makers. How can we frame this technology, and how can we protect it in a, as what Prince Constantine said, in a pro-innovative way. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
all
much.
the best.
Thank you. We'll see you next year. Yeah.